because you've got to take it. And a team like W7M, they're so experienced at this point that they know that, and they can try their best to exploit it, and hence things like the all chat kicking off and stuff of that nature. You can really get in players' heads like that. Lobbing. Could be looking for something early here. Little boss GA cog action. He really is.
Oh, and nobody spawned there.
Well, he's not going to do too much with it. He gets himself back inside and can start to hide out a little bit now. But it does just go to show that W7M are not going for an anchor hold here. We've got Volps. He's going to be playing at the top of Adam's stairs and keeping an eye on that window. We've even got Dudes upstairs in garage. This is a very extended hold right now, Demo.
Would you like to hear my players to watch?
Go for it.
I think you have to be looking at Lobbin for me. I think he's a player which done extremely well whenever they had went to Atlanta, you know, their breakthrough competition. I thought he was a standout there. I still think he's been the standout player for them, you know, since then. So certainly somebody to keep your eyes on. He's going to want to get aggressive. He's going to want to try and get those opening picks. Yeah, just a player that you have to watch. If you look over towards Luminosity, honestly, I'm gonna fancy Surf here. I think somebody who has been a long-standing player inside of NAL for a while now, and this is really his first looking at a bit of success. You know, think back to whenever he used to be in the Beast Coast roster, you know, way back when. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Surf plays today, because at the moment he's done not too bad this competition.
Dude's going to pick up the first kill there and nearly gets a second on the wall bang. Half the round wasted. There's still a player upstairs, Demo. Where's the roam clear? He's just shooting a bar of pellets off for fun.
No way.
Takes Surf down. Oh dear. Dash is still upstairs as the Cade, by the way. Cade. His Electroclaw. Nah, don't worry about that. I'm just going to sit at the top of Cash stairs. Minute and 5 seconds left.
Don't drop. Don't do it.
Oh, if he drops, it's over.
Player oil pit.
Oh, Eddie. He looks like he's tempted for it, but I think he knows that there's someone tucked into the corner. Dot's going to take Silent down. Oh, dear. What do you say? One by one. Everything is just a single engagement. No roam clear whatsoever to speak of. Eddie might pick himself up one here as he gets himself up the stairs. Not even with the pistol. The disrespect there. Dash picking up that final kill. A flawless round for W7M to kick it off. Honestly, I don't even feel like they broke a sweat.
I mean, what was that? Like, I heard a few mumblings that Luminosity maybe haven't been playing the greatest of Siege. And I didn't want to come in here and immediately be negative, but we have just had a basement defense in Clubhouse, which is pretty important site for the defenders to win. And usually we like to see teams just turtle up, you know, use a Cade, for example, try and Cade off the hatches, play your crosses, bring mirror windows, for example, just really lock down that site. And the attackers have to go for this big fancy execute where they all need to be coordinated, all drop hats at the same time. What we had was a roaming Vigil going for spawn peaks, a roaming Cade who still had utility in the back pocket roaming upstairs in the CCTV room, and Luminosity went through the round as though those two didn't exist.
I just don't understand how you can have your Hibana pellets shot off and that not become like the #1 priority of trapping this roamer. If there's a roamer on the top floor of Clubhouse, they should be dead.
And the thing is as well, they had an Ash, Silent. Instead of, you know, the Ash going and getting the kills, running upstairs, whoever it is, fighting the Vigil, fighting whoever it is, fighting the Cade, he has just decided to try and run down long in sight.
Yeah, Silent just take, yeah, I don't, that's what I mean. I don't get it. I don't know why it isn't the focus to go and clear out the roamer. Instead, you're starting to send people direct to site, and it just feels a little bit, I don't know, it's round one, it's early days, but not impressed is the general takeaway from that. Now, let's see how they go attacking elsewhere. W7M going to be locked out of defending the basement for the next couple of rounds, and as such, they will be getting themselves into that gym site, gym and bedroom. See what they can make happen here. Does require a little bit more setup, and there isn't as much potential to roam. You've got to use your utility a little bit more. Castles, frosts, all those things can be very helpful indeed. Deployable shield as well. We're going to be rocking the Fenrir mute combination along with a Warden, so drone work could be a little bit tricky. Just wondering to see where we're going to see this armory going in.
It's a better start. And like you mentioned, it was only the first round. Again, still plenty of time for Luminosity to get back into it. But I suppose the worry is, Ollie, if you start your day in a car crash, how does the rest of your day end up?
In the hospital.
Probably the best way you look at it. But at the moment, they have got the man advantage. They had lost the sledge, who was trying to open up the castle barricades. Again, those exterior castle barricades is very common to see on this top floor site. You bring the sledge in, it makes quick work of that, and now we're seeing w7m just swinging windows, swinging everything that they have. Up goes the Amaru straight into Jim now. A minute 10 left on the clock. Silent has jumped in through the main breach. A great kill onto Dots, and that means Lobbin. There's a lot of work to be done. Diffuser, it is going down from the Amaru. Silent needs to try and cover. That reinforced wall will keep Eddie alive, but Silent's dropped below. Amaru, where are you going? To be fair, your teammates kind of baiting you there. Drop straight away downstairs into the hatch, but he has no idea that Silent has slipped in towards the back end of bar. Clutches up. An explosive round. We still had a good minute left on the clock, Ollie, whenever the diffuser was getting planted.
A calamity. I think that's how this game's going to be, isn't it? It's going to be stressful. It's going to be very high-paced. And it's going to be a little bit scrappy. I honestly thought that once Silent had dropped the hatch, I thought, oh, it's over. Surely Lobbin wins this. Because you've just left your teammate to die. It was a great hop in there and picking up that kill. Lobbin had a chance here. It was a good play from Silent in hindsight, because he actually used his Ash breaching round. I didn't realize he had one left, but he actually used it to open up the floor below. So at that point, the round was pretty much won, and you were forced into pushing him as the defender there, and you've then got to just win the gunfight. But better stuff. Certainly better than round number one. Good to see them on the quick bounce back there. Let's see if we're going to attempt there once again. I do believe we've gone upstairs to cash this time, so opting for the other top floor site.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left before insertion.
Look at the lineup change immediately for Luminosity. This is a little bit more focused with the execute, of course, as the Ying makes an appearance. Also see the old striker being brought in. Usually used as a utility burning operator. I think whenever you look towards CCTV room and cash. Garage Rafters is always a big place of contestant. So I think being able to bring in, you know, a hefty amount of utility dump to help with that clear out of the player towards Rafters is always handy. I don't think, is there any other operator that gets, you know, 5 bits of utility? I mean, obviously I think Ying does if you bring in like a little bit extra.
Ooh. Great shot from the Boss G, but just not enough. It was a bit too far on the range there.
He can get Doc. Silent, go ask Doc for a stim.
Oh, I mean, Lobbin. He's not interested. He's just getting himself out there in the map and seeing what other chaos he can cause.
Yeah. Player to watch. This is it right here. He just wants to get angry.
Oh, goodness me. He's chipped so many players down. He's left 1 on 17, 1 on 7, and he's killed 1. The value is incredible at the minute out of Lobbin there.
Look, can I get a Doc? This is what I'm talking about. Ah, oh wait, I don't know why from my voice I'm Silent, but we're even watching Silent.
This is a competitive game, of course. He's not going to give him a Doc. This isn't a troll rank stack.
I don't know why my brain went there.
Could be an angle here for Silent on the Deimos, but I think they're going to know that he's down there roughly. Lobbin obviously had that little skirmish with him at the start of the round, so they know that somebody was there. But Lobbin's also probably telling everyone that there's 2 players on 1 HP and they just need to hold off and wait for these final executes to come in, and just a couple of points of damage is going to be enough. There aren't any C4s left in pocket, so they don't have to worry about the explosive aspect of things, but the clock is definitely going to be something that starts to put the pressure on Luminosity. 45 seconds and they still need to start clearing these areas out. They're not entirely sure about logistics. They're not entirely sure about construction yet. And even then you look at, well, what are they going to be able to get open? They've spent both of those exothermics, so this construction wall, if it's fully reoed, it's not going to be a goer.
Oh, it's going to be difficult. I think losing the Ying, where the Ying had the hard breach gadgets on, was probably looking to get the Ying in towards bedroom, open up that wall, and then use the Candelas over towards the top of the stairs. But now they just have to try and play almost with guns up. They don't have a hefty amount of utility left. Oh, a great double swing. And the dot stim comes in. Dash eliminates Silent, who already was so low to that plus GA cog, of course. But 2 kills back in favor now, Luminosity, but the time just doesn't look to be on the side of them. All w7m have to do is stay alive, and they'll do so. Leaving it way too short, Ollie, to be looking for those executes, but I think it all just stems from losing that Ying first right off the rip.
Yeah, that was the secondary plan, wasn't it? It was to use those tin openers to really get something done and to get that construction wall open after they'd spent everything, but I don't know, maybe Rowe needs to play that a little bit different. Maybe he needs to be a bit more active if you're going to send somebody down into the basement on the Deimos. There's only a couple of ways up and down from the basement. You've got blue, oil, and main stairs, so doesn't take loads to lock that player out and really start to pinch him and go on that roam hunt. I don't know if it's a lack of interest in hunting these roamers from Luminosity or what, but they do seem to be a little bit hesitant at actually committing to that roam clear. We saw it in round 1, and we've seen it again then in round 3.
Well, honestly, I need to catch a breath already. Need to get the defib started up, because it's just so thick and fast, this game.
10 seconds left.
Really don't know where we're going to go next. I'm going to see a blitz now.
5 seconds left.
We see a vigil, but this time it's not Lobbin and the Boss G. Different again.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
I mean, look at the setup. We actually have a full roam game coming out from w7m. They're going to try and extend with those castle barricades. See if they can control a hefty amount of the map. You can extend all the way to the top floor and work your way down into the mid floor. A lot of rat holes will be set up, of course, Ollie. Gonna make a bit of a maze upstairs. Also a strip hold. We haven't seen this since the TSM days.
Another fine angle being held there with the Boss GA cog. It makes sense from w7m because it's been Luminosity's biggest weakness in the minute has been that roam clear. So what do? You just exploit it, fully commit to the roam, force them to either directly push the site and then hit the retake. Alternatively, you've got to try and clear out that roam, and it is going to take you a good amount of time to do so. Dash has already made his way back down to site. They're joined with dots, so there is a presence there in case a drop does come through. They're down.
Oh, they tried to rush.
Eddie just tries to walk his way on through. Silent hits the drop as well. That nade isn't ideal at all. The idea was great, but the execution was poor. 3 versus 2 now as Dots, he gets traded out there by Wi-Fi. The Vulcan canister has been blown. That is going to stop the defenders from getting themselves in, but with Striker out there stuck inside a dirt tunnel, there's not loads that can go on here. In fact, it's Thatcher, sorry, in the dirt tunnel. Oh, a brilliant view, but Lobbin's there with the kill. Now they know that the last player is inside a dirt row. His moments are numbered. All he can hope for here is a good lineup. But again, look at the amount of time left. There's a whole minute on the clock. 1 TK. Maybe another. Is this when w7m say, right, hold the phone, calm down? He's got live information. He knows where the castle is. Looks like he knows where the other player is as well. But Dudez, he's going to be a little bit quicker on the draw.
Oh, rookie mistake. A rookie mistake. This is a strategy that I'm pretty sure Furia were the first team to come up with the idea back whenever they were w7m. Don't forget, this was like a Furia's map whenever they were known as w7m. This was their fortress. Nobody was taking it off them. And yeah, it's a strategy I've seen happen a few times, and I'm really surprised that Luminosity have fallen for that. So the defense they set up with this elaborate room game where you're bringing in the castle barricades, you're extending all the way to the top floor, and obviously the natural objective is to get the attackers to waste a lot of time and a lot of utility. You open up the hatches and you just fall back down to site. That is the initial plan. The attackers have to do that. The attackers cannot try and go for a rush. Look at all the feet holes, the angles that were opened up. You also bring in the Goyo to assist the 2 players in sight if anything does go wrong and there is a rush coming in. The Goyos will make that push just impossible to happen. It then gives the time for the other defenders to either retake above and use the hatches above and, you know, try and flank them perhaps, or just come back to site. So you have to roam clear against that strategy. You cannot just, oh, scrap the roamers. Let's just forget that. Let's go through blue. They want you to go through blue. That's where all the utility is. That's where all of the angles are lined up for. I'm really surprised Luminosity didn't know that.
It sometimes doesn't seem like Luminosity know a lot. I'm not sure what the roam game is... sorry, I'm not sure what the drone game is doing to make this roaming a little bit more difficult, but it seems like W7M are roaming pretty much for free right now. Maybe keep a closer eye on the drones inside of this round and just see exactly how Luminosity are choosing to spend them. They were successful in the gym site on the attack, though. It's the only attacking round that they had so far. There was a bit of an Amaru play up the hatch. No Amaru picked this time, so we know that they're not going to be going for that again. And it was a fairly scrappy round. It came down to a 1 versus 1. Something that you can be sure of, based off the first 4 rounds we've seen, is that Luminosity will move quickly. They certainly don't waste any time. Sometimes it is to their detriment, but they don't waste time getting themselves in. Now, the electrification on the wall is going to slow things down a little bit here. It's going to be a Cade placed in the floor, so one of the trickier ones to deal with. But a Yin Candela through and an attempt at a push in through Garage here. Looks like it's been successful for the most time. Rose got himself in and can maybe try and play that window a little bit.
Attackers dropped the diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Well, it's not as fast as what the previous rounds were, Ollie. I'm very happy to say that. Because, honestly, we need to chill out a little bit. This is Clubhouse. No, this is Clubhouse. It's one of the more slower maps in the pool. But here we are. It's fast and furious. Wall gets opened up. Barrow and Cade not working out. Curious to see how they're actually going to try and deal with the kind of secondary position now that W7M have now reinforced the other 2 sets of the cache walls and also have Cade'd those. And how much utility they actually have to try and get through all of that, and it doesn't look as though they're going to have a lot, as down goes another hard breacher. He already lost the buck before. Ash has used all of her breaching rounds, so you cannot get that wall open anymore, Ollie. That cache wall is going to remain how it is. This is a big issue now for Luminosity.
We said that Luminosity moved quickly, but in this round, a couple of little mini games, it's really slowed them down. 1 Candela left in Rose's pocket, so he could try and do something with that. Wi-Fi going to get Dash. Dash really didn't need to be peeking there. Eddie, he's successful as well. The Candela will be shot on the floor. So Volps has a chance at a gunfight here, but going to need to play back-to-back, and Eddie comes in with his 2nd kill on the round. Lot for Dudez to do now. Picks up 1, but immediately traded out. Wi-Fi from that window. Lethal.
W7M just thrown that round away. In a great position. Man advantage. They can't get through that wall. That wall was electrified. They have no utility of getting rid of the Electroclaw. And then W7M started swinging. And it all started with the player in construction. Needlessly swinging onto the player in construction window. He loses that engagement. Then for some reason, the guy playing top red stair swings. He loses his life. It then leaves the Cade in such an unwinnable position where he has to watch not only the door, but now also the rotate towards red stairs. Why? Why are they swinging for no reason?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of overconfidence there from W7M. I think they feel like they've got the advantage gun skill-wise, but when they're just taking those random swing engagements and there's people watching angles, it ain't going to work. Luminosity have proved that they're gunners. We know them to be capable. Chance at a 3-3 split here, which would be, I think, a fantastic first split for Luminosity to get. W7M will be looking at this and thinking, Luminek, if we'd have booked our ideas up a little bit, if we'd have played a little bit smarter, could easily be sat here at a 4-2, 5-1 even.
Setting the welcome back.
It's been a weird game, that is for sure, but still plenty off the map to go still. Luminosity. I mean, they have been pretty selective in the operators that they've chosen. You know, it is more or less the kind of same idea where you're always having the Thermite. Silence always been on the Ash. They've always had the Ying. And then they've kind of interchanged with the other two. Sometimes I feel as though they bring the wrong operators at the wrong time, and then they bring operators that maybe don't need and that would have been great for the other rounds. I don't know, it's a big mess at the moment. This lineup looks a little bit more standard of what you would expect to see. The only thing I would say is they are going to have to go for a bedroom take. They have no options of getting rid of anyone who could be in towards rafters, for example, because they just don't have the utility. You know, usually we look at like a Capitao, for example, or a Grim to try and deal with the player in rafters. So straight away, you know, w7m should be onto that, seeing that nobody's towards the garage side. They haven't opened up garage wall. They haven't tried to eliminate the player in rafters. All of the pressure is going to be coming in from those windows, and of course in towards construction.
Spending a lot of candelas on this player inside of Logi. Lobbing, doing his best to try and stay alive. Gonna be full white flash, but still manages to get the kill. I'm not sure if he managed to dodge out of the way of the candela or not there, but Silent will grab one back. It still leaves an advantage here for w7m. And a significant HP advantage as well. Silent is only on 4 HP. One shot and he is out of here. There is a C4 as well in play, so there's potential for that to get used. Clock starting to look a little bit dangerous now. Still 2 exothermics as well in the pocket of Eddie, so whatever the plan was for those exothermics, it clearly hasn't happened. That clear of the bedroom side being really unsuccessful. And again, I don't know if it's people just trying to do too much on their own and not getting enough assistance for it. If you double push that guy inside of Logi, you've got a much better chance of clearing him out of there. Stun comes through. Dudes forced into a prone. Player now walking up into garage, but gets burned. Dudes there with the pop-up and the shot. We said that Silent was low and proved just there. Eddie now has to try and make his way through. He's announced his location, goes for the pop flash, knows that someone behind the mirror window, but it's not an angle that you're going to win anytime soon. Lobbing, he's going to secure that final kill and the round here for w7m. They're going to finish their defense on a 4-2 split.
We have an attack on CCTV room and cash room, and the Thermite has died as the last player with both Thermite charges not being used. Doesn't that kind of sum it up?
Yeah.
Like, the fundamentals just feel so off. The way my brain is wired. Might just be me. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but
maybe your brain's wrong.
It doesn't feel the way that you should be playing Clubhouse. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan either of the bedroom attacks on that site. I just think you have operators like Grim and Capitao available. Getting control of garage is going to be the easiest thing in the world. So why are we not going down that line of thinking? Even Monty's available.
Mate, you've got Grim, Monty, you've got everything. You've got everything that you need to do that.
That push with the operators available should always be a garage take. Always should be a garage take. Like, there's not many games now, Ollie, that we get a liberty of casting where both Ying and Grim are open.
I know, and we haven't seen either of them.
They are incredible.
Sorry, we haven't seen Grim.
Like Clubhouse. An incredible in Clubhouse. I haven't actually seen like an actual kind of good Ying execute yet either.
No.
The Ying's either died first or has tried to go solo.
Yeah, we've seen Ying used to try and push people out of positions and get just take a room, take a kill, but even then it hasn't worked.
Oh.
Let's see if w7m can display a little bit of Ying play for us. It's going to be Volps rocking the Ying this time. Luminosity, are they going for the lockout here because they've got the Cade and they've got the Two-Brow? So that tells me that they're going to go and try and really keep hold of these hatches. They don't actually have any impacts though, which is a little bit of a weird one. Impacts can be great to trick onto the kitchen hatch and you can destroy the explosive that's trying to get rid of it. If you can destroy an exothermic, fantastic. You can destroy a couple of Hibana pellets at a time as well. Hibana will always win in that instance unless you bring nothing but impacts, but it does do something to slow it down. But they haven't really got anything to do that. Instead, they've just got the Cade, they've just got the Two-Brow, which will take away a little bit of time. But with secondary EMPs, the Cade is going to be pretty much null and void.
Yeah, Cade tricking, obviously a massive issue. on its own right. You had K-tricking alongside Tabaro. It's not a lot you can do. There really is. And this is probably where, obviously, a Maverick ban is worked against Luminosity now, Ollie. You know, that they have to go up against this Cade and Tabaro combo without having the Maverick open up the hatches.
Yeah.
In terms of EMPs, they have none left. So that triple wall on Church, fully reinforced, fully electrified. Oh, dear.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
It's gonna be a big issue now for W7M. So all credit Luminosity, they knew that the game plan they wanted to go for. What have we got here? Surely not. If this works, I was gonna say for a minute, there we go, he has the right idea. That should just never work. You know, dirt tunnel as soon as it gets opened. Very difficult to try and hold it from that stage. Honestly, sometimes we see even like a Cade being played in there. You put the Cade in the top corner and try and deny access to dirt because it's just such a vital area for the attackers to have control of because it almost dissects a large majority of the site.
Well, crouch walk now for lobbing. You need control of blue. You've got to have that area covered. And with 30 seconds left to go, he is in the right spot. You can see players on the top right of the screen. They're going to be hanging around the kitchen hatch. They're going to be looking to try and drop. The Candelas will come in and signify that. But Dash, he's rushed all the way down. He's got himself deep into long, and kills are going to start coming in. 2 for Surf as he activates the goggles, but he will be taken down. The diffuser has been planted. Dash and lobbing. Fantastic execute there from W7M. They spent a lot of the round setting themselves up for that. Wait until they had everybody in the right position. And by the way, that's how you use a Ying to execute.
Yeah, it is. I'm very impressed that they were actually able to win that round based on triple wall not being opened up. You know, triple wall being fully reinforced, it means that you don't get to kind of cut out the players in Church. The players in Church are very difficult for the players who want to drop kitchen hatch because there can be angles held onto you. You can see 4 of them, of course, as well from the double door. But actually, it's worked against Luminosity because they just weren't switched on. By fully reinforcing the wall, it means that they have no way of actually holding on to the double door at the bottom of the stairs. If you can't hold on to the double door on the bottom of the stairs because you don't have the wall open or the little, you know, left-hand side wall with head holes in it, somebody can just walk straight up alongside the Yings and walk straight into Church. That was just the case of Luminosity switching off just for a minute and allowing that player to walk down long.
Yeah, Dash did a really good job there of pushing down and getting in deep and just really barrel stuffing the player inside of Church. It was an engagement he had to win because, as you say, if he loses that engagement, it just makes kitchen hatch so much more difficult. W7M 5-2 now. Looking primed and ready here. They've got the Dokkaebi this time as opposed to the Ying. A little bit of a switch up there. They're also going to bring in the Flores. Flores fantastic at getting rid of utility. Castle barricades. Even barbed wire. Deployable shields, bulletproof cameras, you name it.
Yeah, barbed wire is a big thing at the moment, isn't it? It's really
especially
came
with
into
the
the
damage,
meta. Yeah. Great for shields. Really annoying for Monties to deal with. See that Castle barricades have been mute jammered also. So the Habana pellets will not work. That was honestly the benefit that Luminosity, whenever they were attacking that site, they just used a sledge. You know, Sledge doesn't care if there's a jammer on it. He's going to smash the barricade open nonetheless. So this going to be a bit of an issue for W7M, is just opening up those windows. Of course, you could always go with the old-fashioned methodology. Just punch it off.
It's a bit time consuming though, isn't it? It's not quite, it's not...
and dangerous.
I don't know if it's
dangerous.
efficient, yeah.
See, look, not even the drones work.
Even the Rotaro drone, I mean, they should know at this point. You have the Dokkaebi that's going to be giving a little bit of a call and actually getting downed out. Eddie and Silent going to pick one apiece and just absolutely massacre from that garage catwalk. If all the mute jammers were placed on the castle barricades, why are we not opening the bottom of garage? What is it with this garage take that people are finding so difficult? Get the bottom of garage open and bring a Capital, bring some bees, bring something to displace those players.
I'm really surprised Monty doesn't make an appearance.
Yeah.
I think Monty's just incredible on any bomb site in Clubhouse. Monty's going to be great. You think about the top floors, you can push out areas like garage, basement, walk through dirt. A lot of opportunities for the Monty, but teams just aren't really favoring it. Look, great hold by Luminosity. Obviously, I love the mute and castle combination. Just denies that if you don't have the proper operators in place, like an Ash, Sophia, Sledge, and you're trying to go down the line of using the Flores or using Habana, it's going to be null and void. And then those windows being castled up, it provides more protection for those roamers who are extending over. If they do get pushed back, if they have to fall back, then they'll be safe. They can cross safely back into the site without having to worry about the windows being opened up. Didn't get to that stage because they just cleaned up house whenever w7m attempted and execute.
CCTV and cash we go to now then.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Finally. Look at the lineup demo.
5 seconds.
That's going to put a smile on your face. It puts a smile on mine. We got the Capital. We got the Monty.
Attackers objective.
We've got the tools for a garage take. Luminosity also have the tools to deal with the garage take quite well. They've got the smokes, which if they want to use early to try and deny the Monty, they can do. They can also, of course, save those for later as a bit more of a plant denial tactic. You've also got the Wamai. So you've got the discs that you can send out there, and the Wamai, of course, will catch Capital's bolts. Now, the bolts will still explode, so if it's a firebolt, it's still going to go off, but you can at least have a little bit more say as to where it happens.
Let's hope that this is going to be a much better, cleaner execute from w7m. Again, still having issues with getting the wall open just based on the freezing mechanic that Tavaro can bring to the table. Tavaro's actually my favorite operator. Does that surprise you?
That's cold.
It is. It's freezing at times. I personally think he's like one of the best guns in defense. Like that DMR hits like a truck. It really does. C4 is always handy. Gadget's nice. Just very good for Clubhouse whenever the map kind of revolves around walls. Oh, they've actually been able to catch the thermite charge there. Ollie, did you see that?
Yeah, they've got the
thermite charge is gone.
The secondary hard breach is open, but
yeah,
no way you're going to be able
open.
to thermite
That's
this open. Short. Hello, Volps. I mean, at least Roe gets traded out there, but
yeah.
Volps was going for a real risky one there. Anything sent out, C4, impact, or even just swinging it with a gun. It was always going to cause them a bit of a problem, but they do have some things open. So they've got Jacuzzi half open, and I think that was just half open from the defenders, and then they've also got a small vault hole from a can opener in the main breach. But in terms of garage, it's all very quiet. That's where you would expect to see the Monty. Instead, the Monty now is going to be pushing this cash door. Going to try and bully his way through the smokes. They're going to come out now as well. You're now getting bared down on by a Monty. You have to run. There's nothing you can do. The team elsewhere, they are taking care of business in the site. The Monty is being played to perfection by Dots. He's just zoning out this smoke, and there's nothing that he can do. There's going to be a player tucked into garage as well. That's Silent, but he'll be dealt with as well. Fantastic. This is the power of the Monty. You can just bully players into submission. The shotgun at close range. It might be good for one here, but the plant's going down. All this is just a distraction tactic at this point. The mirror window will be popped, and Surf finds himself one. Nearly locks on for the second. But even if he had, he'd have still had a Monty to deal with.
I was really worried for a moment. I seen the Capital swing the construction door. Didn't use any utility. Capital's actually really good for clearing off the player on the red stairs, you know, behind that mirror window. You just fire in the bolt, no problems at all. Look, again, I'm as shocked as you are that we're still seeing teams not want to go for the garage take. But you have to give credit to Dots. He made that round. Monty just pushing straight in through the door. The only person who can stop that onslaught coming in from construction door is going to be the player in the mirror window. If that player in the mirror window gets removed, you've opened up the dam. There's a flood coming. I think the Monty, the way that he was able to move through, tanks a couple of... You know, smoke's only going to do 15 seconds, or 15 damage per second to you. That's still enough to tank some, get up close, and look at the damage he was able to do. He opened up the door for his teammates. They moved in. They did their job. They got their kills. And he just held that smoke at bay. That was the main thing. Just keep him back.
No, it's perfect. If you're going to play the Monty, you have to play it like that. And you've just got to believe that your players behind you are going to win the gunfight, and you're not going to get shot in the back. If Lobin doesn't win that gunfight, all of a sudden the Monty's going to get shot in the back and the round's in the bin. But you've got to have that belief, and you've got to have that cover there. Map point here for W7M then. Clubhouse, of course, was Luminosity's map pick. But with it being a Clubhouse, is it really ever anybody's map pick? A lot of teams can play Clubhouse. It's been a map in the pool for a very long time now. It hasn't changed for a very long time either. And we expect a lot of teams to be good here on Club. Luminosity, surprisingly, struggling on the defense more than anything.
Look at Silent again, by the way. Boss G. What is Turd calls, by the way?
Yeah, I think he started something, hasn't he?
Honestly, he's
Oh dear.
rated an absolute monster.
Oh, Silent should die here, though. Yeah, Silent gets traded out there. That's not too bad.
Oh, I hate it here. I hate next we'll be seeing this operator with the Boss G. Telling you.
Well, you've lost the Nook. Sorry, not the Nook. You've lost the Nomad.
No man, that's,
and the Vigil.
that's okay.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's
all right
an
trade.
equal
That's fine.
trade on both sides, isn't it? Look at the position though of the Monty. Dots
Monty dirt.
all the way down Dirt Tunnel. We've already got players stacked up in blue as well. Lobbin, you got to look the right way, mate. Surf and Eddie, they're going to find one apiece before finally being traded out. Still with the Monty stacked up in blue and a player just tucked behind him. Not really where you want to be as the Ram. You can't get too much value from there. Maybe he'll be able to go upstairs and use some of the vertical angles, but he's leaving the Monty all alone right now. Monty can gather a little bit of information here, but just gets caught looking the wrong way. The shield must have given him away. Looks like a Luminosity attacking round. Look at how much time's left, Demo. Minute 15 on the clock.
Yeah, I'll explain in a little bit about why that didn't work, but I think Volps has a lot of work to be done. Obviously, a player that has been on the radar in terms of how he's going to perform on this side, considering how everything happened with Liquid, of course. That was a massive move for him. Didn't work out. So he's went back to the org that he was previously on. It is a new team, of course, but same organization. Let's see if he can bring up a big clutch for his side. Free to find one of them on half HP. But still, full health Goyo and Cade, what stands in his way. That wall is soft, but doesn't have any ram gadgets to people actually dig in through that wall. Not gonna pull it shock in this scenario either. There is a Cade on the other side of that wall, but he doesn't know that. The information really lacking right now. Everyone from Luminosity patient, holding their angles. It should just be an easy 3-2-1 swing. Who's gonna get the kill? Who's gonna find them? That shots come in. Bobs is worried now. Looking towards blue. He knows that the player's right in the door. Will down the castle, but 2 more to find in 10 seconds. Is he gonna make it happen? No. No idea about the K tucked in beside that triple wall. Luminosity get away with a win. Ollie, dude, it's actually really funny. They lost that round because they were not expecting a Goyo canister to be placed on a castle barricade. They assessed the situation. Yeah. They assessed the situation thinking, oh, they just put a castle. That's their way of stopping a rush in through dirt. Let's bring the ram, immediately break the castle barricade and walk in. They were not expecting not only a castle barricade to slow you down, but then also a Goyo canister to slow you down also.
Yeah, it just took all the pace out of things, and you've got the player in blue that then needs to win some gunfights, and as soon as they announce their position, they're just going to get pounced on, and you need to work off the chaos that the Monty's going to cause in sight as well. Good positioning from, I think, was it Silent on the Warden that last round? Activating the goggles and getting himself into the right spot. Obviously, it's a real crucial position to play, and you've kind of got your back to blue at that point as well, so isn't the easiest thing, but Luminosity getting the job done there on the defense downstairs. They are, of course, going to have to move through. Now, this was another round that sort of fell by the wayside for w7m. They struggled when attacking this gym and bedroom side. They went for the cash-sided clear. And again, it was kind of Garage that let them down a little bit. There was still players floating around in Garage that made it very difficult. There was a bit of a Cade trick and a Tubarão action going on that cash wall as well, which slowed down the breach, but they do have a couple of sets of breaching rounds this time. We've got the, we've of course got the Thermite, and we've got the Hibana, and we've also got the Thatcher, so shouldn't be too difficult. Some secondary EMPs kicking about as well on the Dokkaebi, so they should be able to operate as 2 separate units here and at least stop one from getting Tubarão.
Ball opened up. That's honestly been like the big storyline for me, Ollie, has just been the wall game in Clubhouse. Both teams have been
It's always the same
active,
on Club, isn't it?
You know, in transit. No, but I mean, sometimes, maybe sometimes not, but I think both teams have been religiously taking their Cade and taking their Tubarão. It has been a big, prominent feature for both defenses.
And when you've got the Maverick band and you've got the Bandit band as well, you almost headlocked into it. Should be able to open this wall now into cash, and in fact they're going to go for the double. C4 primed and ready. That's a decent lineup. If it is going to come off. You look at that and you think, throw it. Dude has...
He's got one of them.
Oh, you're going to watch that back on a replay and you're going to feel so hard done to on the timing. That was awful. Peeks out at just the wrong moment. Silent finds himself one. You've got to aggress through. You've got to find this kill for your team, but he picks up two. He was given the space demo.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Lack of soft breach. That is what's caused that. They only had one set of nades that the player who had the nades got killed by that C4. That is the chain of effects that has happened. This is the issue whenever you only bring an operator, only one operator who can do one certain thing. You lose them. You're in quite a mess. And Luminosity with a flawless round. But yeah, no nades because the IQ got taken out. The shield remains. You just don't push that shield. It's not going to work out. And Luminosity win it off that. Luminosity win it again, just based on getting a C4 kill. It's very similar to the situation whenever W7M won a round, just based on spawn peeking a Ying.
The thing is, with the C4 kill, yes, it won them the round, but if they'd have dealt with Silent a little bit better at the top of red stairs and actually pushed him together, it would have been fine.
I mean, I think pushing a player there with a shotgun in hand, that's really difficult.
Maybe it's going to cost you another life, but you should at least be able to get the kill. Tactical timeout here for W7M. Maybe calling for a little bit more cohesion between what's going on and maybe a bit more communication. There's been a couple of occasions there where, you know, you think back to the previous round where we had the rush that was stopped by the Goyo. That's something that you can find out on a drone. You think back to not pushing the guy at the top of red stairs as a unit. That's also cost you a little bit there. So maybe just a little bit more, you know, basic team play, basic information gathering. Nothing too drastic. Luminosity really holding on by the skin of their teeth here to get anything on their map. There is still chance for them. Only one round away from leveling things up right now at 6-5. Of course, Luminosity being given the option to have a chat there as well during that tactical timeout. Compose themselves ahead of this round. I think it's great when a team takes a timeout on a 6-5 and you're the one on the 5 because it gives you that free timeout almost. We didn't see Luminosity's timeout earlier, did we, Demo? I don't think we did.
No, I think we did. I think whenever they were 3-1 down, I think they took one.
Did they take it?
Yeah, I've definitely seen the coach speaking to them.
I don't recall.
Definitely remember that now. But again, we go back into one of our top floor defenses over towards the CC and Cash. And obviously for Luminosity, you know, this was a round that they lost just based on a Monty bullying them, which it just really shouldn't have happened. Look at the lineup though from W7M and the way that they set things up. This now is going to be the expected garage take that we were crying out for, Ollie. You know, Monty can just walk up and make mince work of whoever is going to be tucked in towards those rafters. There's a frost zone. There's going to be 2 frost mats placed in rafters just for that Monty. But hey, look, you still have the captor. That's the main thing.
It comes down to the info game, doesn't it? You need to make sure that you've got that information on the drone. Nade is going to miss there, and 2 brows going to get sent through.
Missed again.
Nade misses it once again. I'm going to send another EMP just in case there is an electrical ore on there. The electrical ore now has been replaced, so there's a chance that this breach doesn't go off here. This EMP needs to be good. All depends on the timing now of that Zoto canister coming off. The flash goes through. It's a good breach open in the end, but it's cost a lot. You've used all of your EMPs there. Do still have an exothermic if you can get anything else open. Maybe if you want to rotate down around and get the bottom of garage or even construction. And you've got a couple of hard breach gadgets on the Capital. So step number 1, get the breach open. That's now completed. I need to get into the drone and gather a little bit of information. You know there's going to be a frost over on that catwalk, and you're really going to be looking toward your Monty now to make it happen. Great shot there. Silent gives himself away. He was so safe as well.
You'd say safe. I mean, there's going to be flaming arrows landing right at his feet in sure due time, but... And you mentioned w7m used a lot of utilities to open the breach, but hey, that's fine. That's the only thing they need to open is that main breach because they have this Monty coming in from rafters. It's gonna take some time to obviously clear away those frost mats, but 45 seconds, they're still in very good standing. You just hope that they can get themselves in and burn away those C4s. That's gonna be the next thing. Bait out the C4s from Luminosity because they have 4 of them to use, Ollie.
A lot of C4s in only 30 seconds. You can cause a lot of mayhem in that time with 4 C4s. Especially when the default plant spot is going to be the hot spot. He's actually going to go just on the breach, so just on the threshold. Maybe feeling like this is a little bit safer. We got Row below. He's going to get taken out. Lobbin and Dudez, they find one each. The C4 comes, but it's too late. Not successful there. Wi-Fi Surf, they're going to grab one apiece, but it's now all down to Surf. He knows there's a player on those cash stairs, rotating himself down. It's going to be Lobbin to grab that final kill. W7m. A garage take was all it took, and they're going to take Clubhouse.
Yeah, great attack. Obviously, the getting the wall open, the utility was perfectly timed. Going against the Kate and Tabaro, it's very difficult, but you see W7M done that perfectly. And I suppose it does highlight that you have to do it perfectly, or else you will have issues. You know, W7M playing at a very high standard, then the actual execute was great. Opening up the other side of the wall for Garage, just to jump in through that rotate. You open up the other side so he can plant with his shield in his back. It will decrease some damage from a C4. It does hit him, but again, still very difficult to go against those C4s. And then finally, they get that diffuser down. They have everything lined up. They have everyone holding their angles. A player lurking downstairs, waiting to see if anyone wants to try and C4 from underneath. He gets killed, and then, yeah, as soon as that diffuser goes down, so easy for W7M to sit back and just let Luminosity have to then play that role of the attackers, aggress onto them. Yeah, great round. Love that round to watch.
Oh, it was a great round from W7M. I think Luminosity, they could have done a lot more, though. If you're going to bring 4 C4s, you're going to expect to get a couple of C4 kills, especially when one of those players is a Valkyrie, and you should have a little bit of information on that. So maybe a bit of a missed opportunity there. Could have been looking at this going to an overtime, but ultimately W7M, for my money, played the better siege over on Clubhouse, certainly on those attacks. And on the defenses, to be fair, Luminosity really rushing a lot of those defensive rounds. And again, I don't know if that's the nerves coming into things. This was their map choice, so you were expecting them to have a good account of themselves. And they did. They took it to a 7-5, but weren't able to take it to an overtime. Weren't able to get it over the line. Some good performances across the board, really, on the side of W7M. I don't think that any one player in particular stood head and shoulders above the rest, Demo. You could maybe look at someone like Lobbin for some of the impactful multi-kills that he got, but I don't think that anyone was streaking ahead in terms of kills.
Great game. I mean, a little bit rocky, of course. A lot of glaring issues, as we said, from Luminosity, especially on their attacks. And the defense was all right. You could see the game plan. They really wanted to use that Cage and Tabaro, but W7M just head and shoulders, you know, on the attack. Especially that last round kind of sums it up. But overall, I think it's a good map to kick things off here. W7M, tough victory for them. Wasn't, you know, the easiest of games that they would have had. Luminosity really put in a fight for them. But now they get to go into their map pick. They get to go to Cafe, where they've already won in this competition here. They beat SSG yesterday on it. And it's a map that Luminosity, they usually either ban or it just gets banned, period, in the map pool. It's not a map that they usually go to. So yeah, Luminosity, they're going to find it really difficult going into a bit of a playground now for W7M.
Yeah, I mean, we commented earlier that Luminosity's game on Clubhouse was maybe a little bit shaky. It was the map that they went to an overtime against PSG Talon yesterday, so there was always going to be a bit of a question mark over that map, especially with how Talon played overall. And I think it's sort of, it's come true, hasn't it? You know, we've looked at it and we've gone, yeah, it's probably the right choice, or probably the wrong choice, should we say, to go to as the map. And then you start thinking about Cafe and you think, well, you know, W7M, they were successful against SSG. They managed to get a 7-3. SSG only getting 3 rounds on the defense and not a single round on the attack. That tells you that W7M know what they're doing when it comes to defending over on Cafe. And it can be a very difficult and very punishing map for attackers. And from the attacks that we saw from Luminosity today, I do worry a little bit about that demo, because you need a lot more coordination to attack into a Cafe. You've got a lot of things that you need to do. It's a very checklist map, and I don't really feel like those checks were getting ticked for Luminosity today on Club.
Yeah, you need a lot of team coordination for Cafe whenever you're dealing with a hefty amount of repels as well on a map like Cafe. Look towards the top floor, even towards the mid floor. Yeah, I think overall for Luminosity, they need to stop playing as solo as what they were doing in Clubhouse, especially on the attacks. They're very individual. People kind of going off and doing their own thing. They need to play as a team. They were doing that well in the defense. A lot of good moments where they were playing extremely well, being able to trade off each other, but we just didn't see that on the attack. That's going to be the make or break for Luminosity. Scoreboard, look, Lobbin, I did mention this was going to be the player to watch for me, Ollie, and he was just running around, just having a field in that defense especially.
I mean, I was saying that I don't think anyone was head and shoulders above the rest. I would say that Lobbin is head and shoulders above the rest. Maybe not Dudez. Dudez 10 and 8, but Lobbin 15 and 8, plus 7 on the KD. The entry looking pretty good as well overall. 3 entry kills across the board for W7M. And, well, only 2 entry kills. Only 2 entry kills across the board for LG. So not really coming out positive on that entry engagement either, and you can see there some of the players just really starting to struggle. 5 and 9, 7 and 10, not really getting into it as much as you maybe would like them to. I know that Surf and Wi-Fi got a couple of impactful kills, and Eddie, he had a couple of moments where he was in the mix, but ultimately, W7M, they shone a little bit brighter today over on Club.
Luminosity, the team that have to try and fight back. They're 1 map down. If they lose the next map, they're out. They're out of the competition. We're at the stage down the competition where if you lose the game, that is you finished. You have to go home. Look, this is your chance to make it onto the top 8, chance to move into the playoffs and already join an illustrious teams that we have already lined up playing tomorrow. I don't know how the other game's going on. Again, please, everyone, keep up to date. Always there's going to be 2 games going on at once, obviously here on our stream and then also over in the main stream. I believe SSG and Bliss, that's the other match that's currently being played. And don't forget, still more games to come later on as well, Ollie.
Absolutely. We're going to get ready for our next map here inside of this series, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.
set, go.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Esports World Cup. We are live here with day number 2 getting underway. We have already seen map number 1 here between Luminosity and w7m, and we are getting ready to get stuck into map number 2. Clubhouse went the way of w7m, and we are now moving into our second map demo. Clubhouse, it was Luminosity's pick. We're moving on to Cafe, and that is w7m's pick. So if you're a w7m fan, you should be feeling pretty good about yourself because they have won their opponent's map choice and they are now heading on to their own.
Yeah, look, w7m got the job done in Clubhouse. It wasn't easy for them, but they had some great rounds of Siege, some flawlessly executed attacks. And now we look in towards Cafe, a very big change of pace. We looked at Clubhouse. I would say the main storyline was all about getting the wall open, all about hard breachers, denying the hard breachers. Now we get into w7m's map pick of Cafe. This is a map where really all of that goes out the window. We are focused on kills, and nothing but kills. Windows are a massive thing. You're expecting to see, Yings and Grims again, especially Grim. I think Grim is exceptional on a map like Cafe, where you can just stick them on the window. You can Grim out the entirety back of Cocktail, pixel position as well if you want to on the top floor. Look towards the downstairs. You can Grim out VIP and restaurant, in behind the bakery. Honestly, Grim for me, this is probably his best map. He has a lot of good. He's good on every map, but I just think something about Cafe, he is so good on it.
Even though Grim has been available, we haven't seen him played all too much, which is a little bit disappointing because I love a little bit of Grim. I think it's so powerful in the meta. But maybe it is time. Maybe it's a bit of Grim time on Cafe. We will have to see. We saw some pretty weird bans, in all honesty. Maybe not weird, but maybe just unpopular bans on Clubhouse.
Yep.
So we will have to see how Cafe goes, if it goes in a similar vein or not. Players look like they're getting themselves ready. Nice little wave to the camera. We love that. We love a little bit of interaction, players. It's been a very quiet game
on that side.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a quiet game, sort of. This looks like business. This is a serious business conversation. This is we are going to win this game.
Yeah,
no trolling, no fighting.
I think w7 on FaZe, they don't want to be the Brazilian team that gets left behind. The other two are already through. They need to join them.
Yeah, well, there's pressure, isn't there?
Hey, there's a big possibility that we could have all 4 Brazilians in top 8. Big chance.
Half of the teams in top 8 are just going to be from Brazil.
Which, well, it always has been like that, Ollie.
I was going to say, it's like the meme, isn't it? Always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you.
I mean, the most dominant we ever seen Brazil was what, SI21, where the top three were Brazil.
Yeah. MIBR, NIP, and Liquid. It is strange because you think about two of those teams, or at least two of those orgs in MIBR and NIP, and they're not around anymore in terms of a top team, but a lot of the players that were on those sides are still kicking around.
Yep, MIBR kind of like blew up, and then the players kind of scattered amongst everywhere, but then NIP, look, you know, Muzi, Psycho, and Pino, obviously that was the trio that were there whenever they won. Still playing, here some of them are.
And Julio. Let's not forget Julio.
Yeah, he's coach. Yeah, but he's coach now on Bleed. He's now APAC.
The Grim ban.
Yeah, look, that's what you need to see. Mm-hmm.
Ying as well being removed, so two of those big impactful operators that are going to help you with those executes gone. Makes sense. That's what Cafe is about. Cafe is largely about executing when you've got a lot of windows and you've got a lot of sites that have windows that lead directly into them. There's a lot of danger then that comes of quick executes, loads of utility getting thrown through a window, and then players flooding in off the back of it to either take control, get a plant down, and then get yourself back outside and cover it from the window. Do tend to see a lot of plays like that over on Cafe. Valkyrie and Azami to be removed here as well. Azami sees so much value on this map because of all the windows, because of all the crossfires. Sometimes you need portable cover. Sometimes you need a pocket full of Kiba barricades to just start throwing at bookcases and chairs and lampshades and all that sort of stuff to give yourself a little bit of something to hide behind. Somewhere that you'd see a lot of that typically played is somewhere like Piano. Hence why it has been removed. It's going to give the attackers a slightly easier time of things here.
If Cafe with both the Ying and the Grim off the board, they'll probably headlock you into kind of having to bring an operator like Monty in now. I think you need to have some form of, you know, operator can just push in to the middle of the room with very little ease. Obviously, Grim and Ying can do that with their gadgets, and then Monty can do that with his shield. That's the situation you'd probably be locked into, but w7m, you're going to ignore that. They're not going to go for that. I think probably, to be fair, you probably see this site, you see the mid-floor site, and this is more of a kind of soft destruction kind of focus site where you want to try and take above in towards Piano, utilize the hatch as best as you can, try and get a plant down, you know, inside of mining and play from above. But there isn't a whole lot of soft destruction, unless they're bringing a hefty amount of breaching charges, which I think is only just going to have the one set on Sophia. It's going to be quite difficult overall for w7m to really play that vertical aspect of this bomb site, which is usually the preferred way. But maybe they have something else in store for us.
Yeah, quite possibly. Pulse is always going to be good on Cafe as well. So much soft destruction and a lot of potential for C4s. Get yourself hiding out down in those lower levels and you can gain a lot of information even from where players are getting on the rappel. That can also be very handy. It can just give an idea of where a push is going to be coming from.
He's down there now. He's in the kitchen. Scanning out. Again, you get some great visibility on rappels also to see if somebody's on a window, if someone's rappelling up to a window. Little things like that's going to be really handy to have that pulse in. I wonder if the IQ can maybe spot them out. That would be very helpful.
You'd hope that the IQ has a good idea of where the pulse is, or at least that they have a pulse at this stage in the round. We do have Nomad in there just placing down a couple of air jabs. A couple of players out on rappel as well. Castle Barricade is going to slow down the roll a little bit here. Does Dots realise that a lion scan works the other way? Oh, he was waiting for the barricade to blow up. He just stood still as soon as the lion scan was on. And I was like, hang on a minute, that's an attacker PC utility. Like, you can move.
He's been hacked.
Top floor is now going to be clear and you can start to work on some of this destruction. Doesn't look like w7m know for sure that it's clear, though. They're still a little bit concerned here that there could be someone hiding out there. They have suffered heavily on the drone game. They've only got 3 alive at the moment. That C4 was destroyed, fortunately, for w7m. We've still got a good bit of time here to get some vertical work done, but...
Oh, sees the pulse.
Not many
Big
sets
pick.
of breaching charges available at this point.
Yeah, like I said, it's just only the 3. Limits you quite a lot, and I think for W7M, their main focus is just being information. You know, bringing in the IQ, bringing the Doki, bringing the Lion. I think they were more expecting a bigger battle upstairs. You know, they wanted to see how many people they can maybe take out from their own game, and now they're starting to rotate, trying to pincer out that Pulse, but Pulse is a friend. Pulse is a teammate down with him. That's where Wi-Fi can provide that extra bit of protection, almost as a bodyguard for the Pulse as he does his job and denying that plant as best as he can. Surf gives himself up. He swings from pillar. Dots is going to eliminate him, but with time slowly ticking away, they need to try and get this plant, but that Pulse is still down there. Volps is trying his best to do something to take the pressure off. Dots is going to try and go for the defuse. The cover has to come in from his teammates and looks to be successful. Diffuser goes down.
Diffuser goes down, and Dudas pays the price for it there. Scrappy engagement here, but look at Dots go. That's the second he's had on the round. He can still place this air jab out. That's invaluable utility at this point in the round. It now all comes down to Wi-Fi. Is he going to be able to pull this one off? I think he knows there's a couple of players tucked inside a train, and maybe that there's one inside a reading, but there's 20 seconds left. He needs time to disable that diffuser. Full white flashed, further wasting the time. Keep throwing the kitchen sink at him, lads. Volps picks up the final kill with the pistol. W7M by the skin of the teeth. They didn't have a lot of time to play with getting that plant down, but more importantly, they had the cover in the right spots.
Oh, it was close. Luminosity really should have won that round. You know, time was going for them. They still had a lot of players alive. That was a big mistake. That kill happening, swinging, it means that nobody's in pillar now. If nobody's in pillar, then that Nomad can just walk into sight and plant where she did. Imagine if that player was in pillar and Nomad trying to plant where she was. It'd be a dead Nomad. Because there was nobody remotely close, you know, to try and get in towards pillar. It was an area of the map that W7 just had no interest in.
W7M seemingly getting away with one there. Rounds on Cafe on the attack are very important. Not that it's a particularly defender-sided map, but when you've got a Ying and a Grimban, it really does start to level the playing field somewhat, because they are two real staple operators. And you are forced into other things. Lion, Doe could be information gathering. The information gathering only gets you so far. You've still got to get in, execute, and get rid of those roamers, get rid of that player. Whereas the Ying and the Grim, they assist you in getting rid of the player. The other two kind of just tell you where they are. So every attacking round on Cafe is hard fought, that's for sure. Maybe just a little bit more aggression from Luminosity, perhaps. They didn't hold on to that top floor for very long at all. If they'd held on to that for another few seconds, with how little time W7M had, they would have ran out of time before getting the plant down. Especially for the utility that they'd invested up there. They'd placed mirror windows, they'd placed that sort of thing. It looks this time as though they're a little bit more set up to stay. We've got mirror tucked in the bathroom, still with a window and a couple of rotations. I just hope that they're able to get a bit more value out of that utility.
I think the big thing that teams will just find on Cafe is very difficult is the amount of time that you waste within the first minute. And that is mostly just trying to get out of spawn and onto the windows. You know, this is a map which has no exterior breaches apart from the one outside of Garage, which is pretty useless for the most part. So whenever you have a map already situated and lined up with mostly windows and hatches as your only main form of entering into a building, it's very difficult to get a grasp on. Right now for W7M, speaking of the windows, that is where they're situated. They're looking to see if they can take control of Piano. Just waiting to see if they want to go for it or not. Of course, they have to deal with this mirror window setup in towards the freezer and bathroom side of things, which they are doing. A run out has occurred and shots are being whiffed from both sides, but Wi-Fi still able to finish off Dash on the window. Luminosity are happy enough to fall back and give them control of Piano because they have these crossfires set up. That's a great kill from Volps. Pre-fires away. He knows there's one tucked in towards freezer, but he also goes down. Studez had the information fed through via his teammate. Now it's into a 2 versus 3.
There is time to start opening up this floor. We've got a couple of breaching charges and full utility on Zafir. No Lion scans left, though, so flanks could be a bit of a problem depending on drone placement. There are only 2 drones alive, so I don't think there's anything too handy out there. All the players that are dead are watching different player cams, not sitting on flank drones, so that is going to be a bit of a concern here, especially with 45 seconds left. There is time for these defenders to start moving a little bit. The diffuser, that's going to be fired off for the time being as a Goyo Vulcan canister will be destroyed there. What a kill from Volps. He must have known that he was there. That's a banger. Levels it out. 25 seconds. You really can't count W7 out here. They are going to fall, though, on the stairs. Dudez was waiting for that Zofia to explode, but Surf got the heads up on him. And now a lot falls down to Volps. Not going to be able to recover that diffuser. Does pick another really nice shot up onto Surf, but wasn't aware of the player just ratting it out, tucked in the corner, silent. He's going to find that final kill. Got to feel a bit sorry there for Volps. He hit some banger shots to try and get it over the line, but it was only good to get it down to a 1 versus 1 that he's eventually going to lose.
Hey, Volps is looking good today, isn't he? Like, he's hitting some cracking shots. Maybe it's the, is this the version of Volps that was around, did you ever see his scrim compilation whenever he first joined Liquid and they were over scrimming before Copenhagen?
He loves it, doesn't he?
I was hearing some mad stories, you know, all the EU teams and all were saying that Volps is just incredible. You know, they all scrimmed him. He said, yeah, well, my easiest best player in the world. And that's certainly what he's showing at the moment.
Still not good enough to get it over the line, though, and Luminosity, they're going to level things up 1 round apiece here. It will force them into a different site. Now, the top floor on Cafe, in my opinion, is a horrendous site. It's awful to defend. There are just too many opportunities for attackers to crossfire, execute, get themselves in. Some teams still go to it. Some teams still like it, but I think statistically at Manchester, it was the worst defender site in the game. It was good to see that it's being avoided here for the time being. Down to the basement we go, down to kitchen and kitchen instead. Now, usually you're going to get a lot of destruction on this map, or on this site, should I say, and this round is no different. There are only secondary hard breach gadgets. Everything else is focused on information gathering and soft destruction. We've got the Dokkaebi Deimos duo, and then we've got the Book and the Ram. There should be no stone left unturned in terms of getting that floor open, that's for sure.
A little bit better pacing, I would say, from W7M. They're a lot quicker into the building, primarily looking at Dudez just walking his way through, but oh no! They've walked away through some Capcan traps, Ollie. And Lobin takes a hefty amount of damage. A player comes around at the perfect time. Silent takes advantage of Lobin as he was trying to bring up his iPad, playing a couple of games. 3v5. It's not the start that W7M would have liked, and Volps makes it not better either as he walks down into the sightlines of Eddie. There's a write-off for W7M. Luminosity. All they have to do is sit back and make sure they don't give away any needless kills, because this is an impossible task for W7M to win this round.
Not going to be an easy one now for them, is it? They've gone down early. Some of the gunfights they've taken as well, it just looks like they've been almost baited into one and then taken out on the crossfire by the other. The defense from Luminosity has been a lot better. Playing nice and buddied up. Even look at this. Sure, Eddie goes down, but Surf's immediately there with the refrag. That Banshee going to give the game away here a little bit for Dash as well. Going to be 2 players just on the other side of that kitchen wall. You can try and bait for a plant here and see if he can pick up one and slowly separate these engagements down, but Surf, it was a great angle. We could barely see him, even with the outline on the POV there. Good round from Luminosity. They look back in the game here a little bit, Demo.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a bit of great timing, bit of siege timing coming in play for Luminosity. But still, did a good job at just trading each other. And this was a point that we highlighted, you know, in Clubhouse, the defense rounds that they had. Yeah, look good. You know, they were able to trade off each other back and forth. There's more of the attacks that we kind of worried about. And don't forget, Luminosity still have to attack this map, which is certainly the least preferred side out of the two. I think W7M, they realize and they feel as though they want to try and get more rounds, so the timeout is going to be called. I mean, at 2-1 down, Ollie is, you know, Is the timeout needed here?
Potentially not. But then if there's a problem, then there's obviously something that needs to be said, isn't there? I always think early timeouts are less about strategy and more about, guys, what are you doing? You know, you're getting baited into these fights. You need to take it a little bit steadier. What, you know, if there's some bickering, whatever it might be. I always think early timeouts are mainly for that. Middle of the road timeouts tend to be a little bit more strategic. But at this point, you don't really know what site Luminosity are going to, so it's not going to be anything too specific. They've just won downstairs in basement. It's going to be a mid-floor site, more than likely. But they've done reasonably well on the mid-floor so far, so I don't know if it's a strategic timeout as much as it is just a stop taking silly gunfights timeout.
I think it's more just cam, because that round was very, very rushed. W7m kind of just walked their way through Luminosity within the first minute. Luminosity, we're not going to allow that to happen. Head back now into the first bomb site that was defended for Luminosity. That fireplace and mining room is the selection. This is the only round that W7m have won thus far. Luminosity are going to change. They had that roam game the last time that was quite easy for W7m to dissect. Mostly because Luminosity just kind of left within the first minute. W7m were ready for a fight, but they never got the opportunity to. It came down to timing more than anything, where Luminosity just could not get the C4 dished out quick enough to stop the plant going down. Again, for W7m, they're going to be wanting this fight. They bring in the Monty for a little bit more, I think, active information. More so than maybe bringing in an operator like a Dokkaebi, which we have seen beforehand.
All comes down to how long Luminosity want to try and hold on to this top floor, and it's not going to be made any easier if you've got a Monty bearing down on you. There are castle barricades to slow things down a little bit, but that mirror window will be popped. And shots on. Surf. He's going to find himself down here as Monty is going to be able to make his way down that long corridor. Puts even more pressure on Row here. Dudez going to get the trade-off onto Wi-Fi, but the opening pick will be Luminosity's. It's not really going to matter too much as a rotation now going to come up to try and retake that top floor, but Dudez doesn't expect the fourth. Volps is going to be there to collect, though. The retake, very unsuccessful. And that top floor clear, you can put all of that on the Monty's shoulders.
Oh, one of them rounds where all the action is everywhere but the bomb site. Luminosity setting up even more so in terms of the top floor control as what they did previously. They wanted to try and bring in the Mira this time to assist them. But again, the Monty just walks in, disrupts everything. Castle barricades and Mira windows are being destroyed by Zofia and Ash respectively. And then we've seen Luminosity try, a retake up the stairs with the remaining players that they had, but just didn't work out for them. Too many bodies, not enough information for Luminosity to deal with. Again, that bomb site just is not working out well for Luminosity. He may want to think about that top floor. Obviously, I mean, they don't actually have to defend it now because everything will be unlocked with only 2 rounds left, but still, the top floor, just not interesting them whatsoever.
2-2, all level then. I don't think the top floor is going to interest them at any point because there is just too much potential for it.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
It does hamstring you though when you go to a map like this and you think there's one site which is an absolute no-go. A lot of maps in the game that have got good viable sites for defenders, where every site is defensible in some way, shape or form, and they don't tend to stray too far away from each other in terms of a attacker defender win percentage. When you start to just say that top floor is for holding on to the building only and we're going to retreat down from it, then it does make things pretty difficult. That is one of the nuances for Cafe, which means you need to play things a little bit differently. But with what we've got so far, we've got a level game. A lot of chances for this to be a 3-3. We've seen Luminosity, I think, stepping it up a little bit in comparison to the way that we saw them play Clubhouse. Now, we've not seen them on the attack yet, and that's where a lot of our criticism lies, I think, from the way that they played Club. It's Monty again. Look at how much ground it can take. That's a deployable shield that's just not done anything, by the way.
Best operator in the game. I went over this. Where's he going? Surf has tried to run out. Surely, what were you expecting? Uh-oh. Volps has taken down the Monty that we've praised so much. What's happened there? A huge mistake from w7m, and I wonder if that's going to be costly. Is that going to be the way that they lose the round? It could be.
Got to reload.
That one won't be going in the highlight reel, will it?
Nope.
There's still chance here for w7m to salvage something. We can hear the beep beep of a C4 somewhere. There's information on that. We've got a player, we've got Row on the default camera. Surely it's not a default that you're going to call for a C4 off. That should be getting shot out, but C4 will get popped and isn't going to land anything. Just trying to open that floor up from above. It's one of the dangers of doing it with Sledge as opposed to Book. You are a little bit more immobile whilst you're opening that floor. A little bit more susceptible to shots from below. The diffuser getting juggled around into the hands of Lobbin here. Who, by the way, is having a very quiet map so far compared to Club. He's going to push himself in and try and get that plant down in the default spot. Again, the cover is brilliant. The C4 shot out of midair. Fantastic stuff. And look at him go. Dudes picks up 3 before being traded out. And it's dashed from the top rope to close out the round.
Wow. Dudes, now that is incredible. I mean, the gun skill from w7m, Ollie, has been top class, you know, top of the range stuff. And Dudes didn't have the greatest of days yesterday. Actually finished negative in the day, but my God, he's playing out of his skin right now. A big round for w7m, and of course, Ollie, that means that they are in a very good position. I mean, keep in mind, Ollie, they still have the defense to go, which is their preferred side.
W7M. Might be a quick series for them, this. We might only be about to see 2 maps. We didn't get 3 maps yesterday in our best of 3. Not sure if we've had any series that have gone to 3 maps yet, Demo. Everything seems to have been fairly straightforward. None of the matches yesterday went to 3.
10 seconds left before insertion. 5 seconds left before insertion.
We got an update on the SSG game as well. Let's see if we can find out what's going on over there. Oh, we're in a tactical pause. I assume map 2. SSG currently 5-3 up. They won the first map, so looking good at the moment for SSG. Looking like they might be about to send the Oast boys home.
Benja boy.
Which would be a shame. It's always nice to see Bliss. I think Bliss are one of another team that have generated a lot of fans.
Yeah,
recently.
So close yet so far, though, aren't they? They're very similar to Bleed. You know, I think wasn't it Bleed, Talon, and Bliss at the major? All 3 of them were 2-0, and then all 3 of them went home. I think, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was that. I think so.
Just goes to show you've just got to be prepared to beat everyone that's put in front of you. It really doesn't matter about how you get to where you know, however you get to the position you're in the tournament. You've just got to beat everyone that's put in front of you. Much slower around this time as well. We've been yapping about the game going on the other stream, just giving everyone a little bit of an update there, but just over half the round to go. Top floor's been taken. It doesn't cost all too much to get in there either, and since bringing this Monty, and the Monty did start to come out after the timeout, so maybe it was a case of saying, look, play the Monty. You know that you can play the Monty. Just bully these guys and get in the faces. It's been working out quite nicely for them. They're attacking into the kitchen this time, so still a long ways to go. They've cleared the top floor and the mid floor, but they do look a little bit concerned about the flanks here. And there's no Nomad, no Gridlock. You're not going to be able to passively hold those. You need to actively hold that with somebody on a drone, or even better, somebody with a gun in the hand.
w7m just going for the motions. That checklist that you mentioned, Ollie, before we got into Cafe, that you have to go through the motions. And they're doing that right now. Obviously, mid-floor control, use the verticality. Then you start to target whatever side you want to go for. Is it bakery? Is it going to be VIP and restaurant? Certainly VIP and restaurant is the side that w7m want to exploit into. But they need to try and get maybe the Monty down to push out Wi-Fi. He's going to be the main roadblock in the way. And oh, look at that for a swing. Thankfully, though, Lobin is there for the trade-off. He's going to try and work his way into sight as the diffuser being planted by the Monty, who went very deep in towards the sinks. Diffuser planted, and Dash can just reap his rewards. Holding on to the flank. Two players tried to retake up red stairs. Now Rowe left in the 1v3 against the Monty. Fully unextending. Pistol out. Charge him down. That's all Dots has to do. Whenever you see a mute or a smoke, it is usually quite free real estate because he only has the 17 bullets for the shotgun. But Rowe takes advantage of Dots' lack of composure. But still, 2 to find diffuser. He's just going to let this one slide. He's out of time. Out of sight, out of mind. And w7m, Ollie, take a very impressive 4-2 split.
Do you think Dots annoyed him a little bit there? do you think that Dots maybe just got under his skin just a little bit?
I think Dots is annoyed that he didn't kill him.
I would be if I was Dots as well. Unshielded as the Monty in the 3 versus 1. The disrespect there, and Rowe showing his dissatisfaction for it, I guess. 4-2 split for w7m then. Another really well executed round under the cover. The plank going down. And Lobbin there. It was Lobbin and Dots, really, wasn't it? Oh, Lobbin and Dudes, sorry. They were the ones that could, as you mentioned there, reap the reward of the cover and having that Monty go in. Very plant focused on Cafe, very execute based, and it requires a lot of teamwork. That isn't necessarily something that we saw in spades from Luminosity over on Clubhouse. This is their time to attack. Let's see what they've got to show us, because I hope it's better than what we saw on Club.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh,
5 seconds.
right.
Attackers have
Luminosity, pressure is on. You've lost 4 defenses on Cafe, which really shouldn't be happening. But you're in that position now, and you have to attack on the Cafe, where w7m have looked so strong, and you didn't exactly impress us on Clubhouse, Luminosity. So, ball's in your court. But sadly, you're against the 6'8" centre back, who's got the pace of Usain Bolt. Good luck.
Well, the Monty was the winning formula for w7m. It isn't being brought. Lobbing on the rappel. Or not even on the rappel, on the window.
Opens the window and he's straight out.
That's the other thing that you've got to contend with. If you're playing against a team that can dial in that aggression, there can be so much opportunity for runouts. Look at this yokai drone just dipping in and out of the bottom of that garage door, calling for anybody out on that rappel. Nowhere is safe. Getting to the building is going to be a problem here. The defenders can make it a massive problem on Cafe. This yokai is just purely information gathering the whole time. If anything's seen, someone will be flying out of a window. Make no mistake of it.
This is the issue with Cafe. It's trying to get into the building is the biggest issue that teams will find. And whenever you're against a very aggressive team who will swing everything. And then you also have an echo cam feeding that information to allow them to swing everything. What do you do? Double shield set up, one inside of shop, one over towards the pretty standard pixel position. 1 kill is in favor though. Off Luminosity. Dudes has went down, who has certainly been the standout player for w7m. But look at the time, Ollie. 1:15 left, and Luminosity have not got an inch of anything on the map. They have the rooftop, Ollie, but that's only because the defenders can't get onto the rooftop.
Can't do much about the rooftop, can you? A drop comes in under the cover of the fire, but the yokai drone is there. Still the shots are hit. Wi-Fi. What a shot. That is a blunder if ever I saw it. There's a C4 below, primed and ready, and I think it should catch. There is still info. That's a guaranteed if ever you've seen one. Dots can try and rotate himself back upstairs, but it looks like his teammates are doing a good job of holding shop upstairs. The player underneath that new hatch, on that new balcony. Eddie with the diffuser in hand on the Capital, looking to charge through. He can hear the Dokkaebi call coming in, but he doesn't know that there's two players inside a cocktail, not just one. Volps, he grabs those final two. Little Echo Yokai drone blunder aside, w7m looking pretty good there.
I don't know how he was able to not kill him. You know, like this, he drops in, he's being stunned. I mean, he's just standing. Does he not see him? Very weird from Dots. I just don't know. I don't know how he doesn't see him. They're just standing there shooting at him and he just lets them do it. I have no idea. Very strange. But anyway, still w7m. They get the round win. Luminosity. Ollie have called their timeout.
Yep, makes sense. Good to see. Could have called it a bit earlier for those defending rounds, but I think w7m were just a little bit better. I'm not sure there's too much that you could do about that aside from hyper-focusing the Monty, maybe playing a Legion, maybe playing an Oryx, something of that nature, but then you get dragged into playing a different game of Siege. Gives w7m a chance to have a quick chat as well. See if there's anything that they can fine-tune for these defenses, but with what we saw there in the first round of their defense, it's looking pretty good so far.
w7m have just kind of set the pace, haven't they? On the defense. Kind of says Luminosity, you need to be ready for everything. You need to be. We will spawn peek. We will look at any window that you've opened and just cut our heads outside of it. And almost by doing that during the first round, it's going to put w7m into almost a very cautious attitude, where they're going to be very fair. They're going to take a lot of time getting out of spawn. Whenever they rappel up a window, they're going to take a lot of time, you know, thinking, okay, how do we break, you know, do we want to break it now? And then just kind of sidestep, make sure he doesn't swing us, you know, what is the process going to be to try and play safe? The only issue with playing, you know, safe and cautious, Ollie, is usually that is characterized with a slow play style, where you're going to use a lot of time to play safe.
5-2 then currently. I don't know how much time there is for Luminosity to play safe. I feel like they should play bold. Be a little bit more aggro and see if they can meet this fire a little bit.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Defending downstairs. Diffuser, top floor. Monty being brought this time. Fresh tracks for the Jackal to sniff. Can get a good track there. Find Lobbin's location out. Ram Gadget moving through at that time, as well as the Dokkaebi call. It's almost better for the defenders because there's a little bit more disruption. The audio is a little bit more cluttered. And they can just get away with a couple of movements there and a bit of a reposition.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Row. Boss GACOG. Not the weapon of choice there for the Dokkaebi. The aggression from the Monty. Beautiful stuff off the back of the Dokkaebi call. Volps in a corner there.
Luminosity have done extremely well to deal with the aggression from w7m. I just think that comes down to bringing in a more safer lineup. Like I think that was probably the game plan from the timeout. Let's bring in the Monty. Let's bring in the Dokkaebi. Let's try and just keep them at bay. Use these strong operators. Give ourselves as much of an advantage as we can going into these engagements, into these gunfights. Because right now, obviously, w7m, you'd say that they would have them beat based on just gun skill. You have to try and match that by bringing in just strong operators. And it will result in a flawless round. 2 kills, by the way, with the boss GACOG.
Well, he made it work, didn't he? Looking a little bit shaky on the first couple, but eventually dialed it in. Luminosity's timeout, good for a round for him there. Still, it feels like they've got a long ways to go here. They're going to be able to drag this one out a little bit. Let's not forget that this is going to be w7m's map choice. They're going to be happy to defend this map. They were happy enough to attack it. They got a fantastic split on the attack. But again, it comes down to that Monty demo. As soon as the Monty starts to get brought, rounds start to get won by the attackers. What do? Do you go for the Oryx? Do you go for the Legion? Do you really try and go trap heavy and counter this Monty? Or do you just sort of let it ride?
Reloading!
I think you just have to try and bring in the operators that can be annoying for him. Certainly Smoke and Goyo, there's two that are pretty annoying for the Monties to deal with. We know that. All of it does come down to where you want to actually place those Goyo canisters. You sometimes kind of have to get lucky though. You kind of have to predict where you think the Monty's going to be pushing from and then stack them up accordingly. Because I'm sure you've done it before, Ollie. You know, you're playing Goyo, you've stacked up a lot of Goyos thinking, okay, he's going to come this time, I'm ready for him this time. And he goes the complete other way and you've got nothing for him. Happens all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem, isn't it? Especially when you set up the Goyos and stuff like that. You can set everything up and if it gets droned out or if it gets seen, it's just, well, we'll just go the other way, shall we? Or even sometimes not, you just predict wrong. That's why I would look more toward a Legion so you can, you know, sort of actively place those traps and move them mid-round as you generate them. Lobbin's got a really good line of sight there, not only onto the main door, but also elsewhere. Sense going to be brought here. First time we're seeing Sense to try and give a bit of a line for that glass to work from, but it isn't going to work. Dash. Dashing out of that main door for no good reason whatsoever. Gives himself up for free. Caught out on the smoke. You're going to want that for a bit of denial later on. Oh, the Monty just gave himself away. How did he not die there? Dots. He's found one. The C4 gets thrown out, but it isn't going to land. Monty on 24 HP. I don't know if the Thinker Sim saved him there, Demo.
I think it had to play a part. Well, maybe not, because I think he would have been then stuck in like 4 HP, perhaps. If we do the calculations on that. It's back up to 44, but still not in great nick. Mostly because there's going to be Maestro cameras up, Ollie, which will deal a good amount of damage to him if Monty attempts a plant, for example. Right now, if your Volps stay alive, you know, your Maestro cameras might be the thing which just win you the round outright. Being able to sit back, use the cameras. Monty now up to 64 HP. Slowly but surely. He's getting up there. Eddie right now. He's going to be the next one in the hot seat. Inside a coat. Strong position to be in. If you actually look at, you know, the utility section from Luminosity, they don't have a big lot left. They have one nade and one flashbang to see if they can try and deal with dots. Goes Eddie. Even takes a little bit of a chip from barbed wire, and in comes the Maestro cameras. It will get shot though. 29 HP is where he will end up on. It has to be the retake. Volps! A tap on the Wi-Fi's head and destroys the Monty as he attempts the plant. W7m again. Play the time perfectly, play the utility perfectly, and Volps that gun skill that he's had today. He's been on fire. Mate, it's just more crispy shots from Volps, isn't it? When he's needed to, he has hit some absolute bangers, some really important shots. I'm watching that plant go down, and I'm thinking, God, you really want a smoke at this time. But that first little peek he got onto, oh, it just looked fantastic. It almost looked like the old leaning that we used to have in the game. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's just so clean with it. A little bolo peek, a little bolo jiggle. Why not? W7m sitting pretty now then. All the pressure lands onto Luminosity's shoulders. This is to stay in the competition, let's not forget. 6-3, 3 rounds. Luminosity need to pick up on the bounce to take this to an overtime. If not, it's a plane ticket back home, I'm afraid. W7m fighting to be another team, the third confirmed team for Brazil in the playoffs. And then later on this afternoon, a lot of pressure lands on the shoulders of FaZe because they are going to want to be that 4th team as well. For W7m, 3 rounds here on the defense to get it over the line. They've got plenty of opportunity. We need to see some flawless siege from Luminosity if they want to try and stay in this game. One round. Will w7m need to make their way into the top 8? Join already. 2 Brazilian teams that made it through yesterday, that being Fury and Liquid. FaZe still have a chance also as they play later on this evening. If in doubt, is the Blackbeard the best thing to go for, Ollie?
I can't remember the last time I saw Blackbeard.
Possibly a D-tier operator in effect right here. Not often we see a D-tier operator, but
how far does the tier go? Does it go down as far as D, or is there more?
No, Blackbeard and then Tachanka, and that's it.
Well, we've seen this Chankro already.
And Fuse.
Nah, Fuse, yeah.
Horrendous. Horrendous. I think actually Fuse is better than Blackbeard, because at least Fuse can bring like a hard freeze gadget.
True.
And has a good gun. Blackbeard, bad gun, bad gadget. Has nades.
And has got her down with the nades.
Because of the Wamai charge.
Could have still brought an IQ for the nades, though.
The Wamai charge has soaked up the nade, and then Dudez has walked up to the Wamai disc and got down because of it.
Surf might find himself a freebie here if he's quick on the draw, and he is. Volts is taken down, but a drop from the hatch. Dash out of nowhere to come down for the trade. I guess he had no choice. He's got a Monty inside a shop, and that's the hatch that he came down from, so there's not much you can do to stay alive up there. Lobbing. He's going to be tucked in here. Might have a chance. Depends on how good the drone work is here from Luminosity. Oh, he's so free. Keeps himself alive. Tucks himself in the corner. Can start throwing some impacts over at the Monty. Might even jump out the window here. Get himself out. Get himself gone. All the way down into kitchen. Dash is going to pick one up with the C4. Lobbin's left his team light, but it doesn't matter because they're falling like flies. Dash and Dots, the 1-2 punch here from w7m to take him through to the playoffs.
One missed drone causes a whole heck of issues for Luminosity. That means they go home. The journey ends for Luminosity. But w7m secure themselves into the top 8. They will be playing tomorrow. What a performance. I mean, were they ever in doubt not to win Cafe? It was always going to be their map. And just look at how they played in the defense, Ollie. So much confidence. Swinging windows, playing aggressive. Look, a little bit fortunate that a couple of things went their way, like that mist room, for example. But overall, it was an outclass on Cafe. Especially the gun skill. The gun skill from w7m, Ollie, looks terrifying.